Monkey.
What is going on, guys? What's going on, man? Wow. Wow. If I have never seen a more cooked franchise, my goodness. This is the New York Giants, guys. Holy moly. What a treat that we have today. I mean, not that I encourage this type of stuff, but my goodness, was this a disastrous press conference. So bad, in fact. This press conference, ladies and gentlemen, let me put the gain down because a lot of you guys complain about that for good reason. I'm going to put the gain a little bit down.
Monkey.
Can you guys hear me? There we go. Wow, did I put that thing that far down? What the hell? Hello. For whatever reason, when I put it just slightly low, you guys can't hear me at all. Holy moly. Let's see. That's quite odd. That's quite odd. What's going on, guys? Sorry. Did you guys Did you guys hear the intro at least? Oh my goodness. I didn't know I put it that far down. The game, I gotta mess with this microphone because I don't want to get too loud and then RIP headphone users, you know. But man, that was disastrous, bro. Joe understands your question, and boy, do we have a lot of questions. That was, if I have never seen a more cooked GM doing a press conference, I don't know. He had no, first of all, he was late. He was late to the press conference by a whole hour, and then they pushed it back to 2:15. He was even late for that. He was even late for that. You just know that the PR team, Pat Hamlin or whatever his name is, we're just like, listen, you're just gonna say you understand the question. You're just gonna tell them that you understand the question, okay? Man, oh man. I understand you, unlike Joe. Joe Schoen taking tips on timekeeping from Abdul Carter. I know. I put that on Twitter. Damn, Pat was like that. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, Pat Leonard. Pat Leonard was really good. I'm talking about Pat Hamlin, the PR guy for the Giants. But Pat Leonard was on fire. Listen, a guy like Pat Leonard, I'm streaming on Twitter as well, so maybe he comes across this. A guy like Pat Leonard is needed. Now, has he been an absolute, like, I don't know, asshole sometimes? Yeah, but, like, in New York media, it's needed almost because you need somebody that kind of, like, fire, you know, fan the flames a little bit to get them to, holy crap, is that really Justin Pennick? Pennick, is that you? You on your ult? He showed up and panicked out of breath and pale. I know. Did you guys see how shiny his forehead was? Like it was like glazed over, right? Pause. But like it was like glazed over. Like he was sweating. He didn't know how to answer these questions. He got real chippy with a lot of these questions. We're gonna go over. We're gonna watch the whole entire thing, guys. The fact that he mentioned Tim McDonald in the same breath as evaluation is insane. Like, bro, maybe he has. Yeah, I know. He was nervous. He's definitely. Yeah, I don't get that PR training there. I don't get that PR training there. Like, I understand the question. I understand the question, and bro, it was the most like simple question that he would go. I understand the question, bro. Nobody was asking you if you understood. You should understand. Bottom line, this team has won 5 games in the past 30, right? They're 5-25 in the past 30 games. He should not have a job. He should not be leading no head coach search, okay? You could argue that maybe Brian Dable didn't get the most, and his coaching staff did not get the most out of the players that were provided, but it's not like the players that were provided, you know, across the board were just awesome, like great pieces. Like we still have a huge hole in the secondary, safety and corner, just terrible, right? Deontay Banks wasn't that great from the beginning, from the get-go. He wasn't great. And then you look, anything beyond that is bad. Defensive tackle room isn't that great aside from Dexter Lawrence, and he's not playing well. Linebacker too. Linebacker's not great. You know, besides the king, Micah McFadden. That's the only one I can give credit for Joe Schoen on. I credit him for doing well with the offensive line. It seems like they're holding up, but I really attribute that to Carmen Brasillo. It seems like wherever he goes, he makes an offensive line pretty damn good. So, Joe Schoen should not be here, bottom line. Joe Schoen should not be the GM of the New York Giants, and the fact that he's leading on the head coaching search is crazy with Tim McDonald and all that. Like, I want to hear from John Mara. I really want to hear from John Mara. Unfortunately, I don't even think we're going to hear from John Mara in the bye week, do we? Do we hear from John Mara in the bye week, guys? Or is it just at the end of the season? Do we have to wait till January to listen to John Mara? I want to hear John Mara. I want to hear his frustrations because I'll tell you what, John Mara does not sugarcoat too much. It is very easy to evaluate where John Mara's feelings lie. Okay, Mike Nixon with the membership chat. Membership for 63 months, guys. Jesus, that is an OG right there. 63-month subscriber. Mike Nixon as a paid subscriber. Appreciate you, bro. One of the OG 27 squad members. Yo, KB, what's good, bro? What's up, bro? Joe Schoen is gone after this year. That's the vibes I got from this presser. We need to start from scratch and hire Brown as our assistant GM. I don't know, man. Well, I want to hire outside of him, man. I don't want anybody that's in this organization right now. I don't want Mike Kafka as head coach. I don't want Brown as assistant GM. I don't want it. We'll see if he gets fired at the end of the season, man. But we're gonna go into it right now, guys. Let's do it. Because if you guys didn't know, the chat was so bad. I kid you not, guys. The chat was so bad. They privated the video. They privated the presser before it finished. I believe they privated it before it finished. I wasn't able to finish it because I was behind a little bit. So I rewinded and kind of like sped up the video so I could catch up. But I wasn't even able to do that because they privated the video. I don't know why they did that. They never do that with other live press conferences. They never really privated it. So that's interesting. The live chat was absolutely nuts. You did not see not one. Everybody spamming. Nobody was saying anything particularly nice. You know, so we're gonna go over it right now, guys. Thank God that they put it up, because I was about to just look at clips on Twitter and show them to you guys, but now we can see it. Yo, Hard Knocks. Yes. Let me make this announcement, guys. Follow me on Twitch. The link is in the description. Follow me on Twitch. We're gonna be watching Hard Knocks together live. Together on stream. So that's gonna be fun. I think I'll be able to show it. Let's see. I think I'll be able to show it. We will see. But follow me on Twitch and we're gonna go over it and we're gonna watch it together and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we'll be watching it. I think it's at 10. Well, when does it premiere? At 10 o'clock. So right after Young Guns, we'll be on Young Guns on the Hubs channel. Young Guns. And don't forget the NFC East RoundTable, guys, at 6 p.m. Listen, we got a lot we're doing today. We got like 4 live streams we're doing. KB's going to be on 4 live streams today. This live stream, NFC East RoundTable at 6, 8:35 Young Guns on Cush's channel, and 10 o'clock on Twitch. We'll be watching Hard Knocks together. All right. Let me put this background music down because I don't want it to overshadow. Share screen. Want to make sure I can see the chat too. I'll pull the chat up on my phone. Like 9 or 10. I think it's at 10. All right, I can pull the chat up here so I could see. If you guys are liking the stream, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Everybody hit that like button before we start. And we're going to get started. We are going to get started. Make sure you hit that like button. Boo, Joe Schoen. Yo, it was nuts. We saw tomatoes in the chat. Let me see if I can see the live chat. Can I? Live chat replay. Will it show here? Okay, we have to start it first. Let's see where he actually starts. I'm surprised they're actually showing the chat replay. Let's see. Not top chat. Live chat replay. Let's see if it actually shows it. Can you guys see me and the chat? Okay, good. Yeah. All right, let's go over it, guys. I'm sure you guys are able to hear it. So, oh, there he goes. There you go. Look at this. Holy moly. Look at it. Here we go. He's late because he's goofy. Yeah, all right, why did I read that chat? Why was that the second chat I read? I'm sorry. That was the Abdul Carter joke. Bring Jerry Reese back? Oh, no. But look at Fire Joe. Bobby Skinner for GM. Shout out, Bobby. We want Chris Mara as GM. Whoa. Who is that? No, we don't. Change the time. Look at this. Just no positivity at all. And we got your typical trolls here as well. My goodness. So I'm gonna leave the live chat there so you guys can watch it as well. along with you guys' chats on the bottom. But this is gonna be fun. He blames everyone but himself. I know, guys. We're gonna talk. Guys, stay tuned. I don't know if you guys watched the whole thing. He even took credit for Jackson Dart. We all know that was Brian Dable's guy. He even took credit for Jackson Dart. That's nuts to me. That is nuts to me. But let's go over it. Let's go over it. Like I said, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button, and let's start.
Slept fast.
Okay. Sorry, I need to rewind it because he even had trouble, but he was so nervous, he even had trouble putting the water on the freaking stand. Hold on. This is like those apology videos from YouTubers, and they don't know what they're doing, and they grab their puppy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, come here, silly you. He just doesn't want to stay still today. Look at this.
Slept fast, I imagine. Let me start off with, 2 wins is not where we want to be right now. It's not good enough. I understand the frustration from fans, ownership, the people inside the building, and nobody's more frustrated than myself. And it starts with me, and I'm tasked with trying to get this organization going back in, the proper direction. And the standard is to compete, for championships year in and year out. And that's the plan moving forward. So
look at the tomatoes.
We're going to look at everything, whether it's free agency, draft, coaching, finishing, execution on the field, whatever it may be. We're going to look at all avenues in order.
Victor, what do you say, Victor? What do you say? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, Victor. But what do you say? I'll watch it. Well, I want to hear what he said.
To get this franchise back to where it belongs. As for the coaching changes we made earlier in the year, this is the first time I've spoke with you guys since we moved on from Coach Dayball and Shane Bowen. Dave's and I have an extended history together, professionally and personally. Difficult decision, but one we decided to make. And
that I have a question about. He said one we decided to make. He also, I believe, mentioned that it was on the ownership that decided to fire Brian Daboll. But do you see his wording there? It's a hard decision. Me and Brian Daboll have a professional relationship as well as a personal relationship, but it's a decision we decided to make. Like he had to preface that we have a personal relationship as if it was hard for him to make that move. Was he involved in firing Brian Daboll? If so, he must be tighter with ownership than we actually think, because that's crazy how he would be involved in firing Brian Daboll when it needs to be him that's fired with Brian Daboll.
He's a great football coach, and he's going to be successful in whatever he does, after the New York Giants. I'll say the same with Shane. Appreciate everything Shane did for us. Tireless worker, good coach, good man, and wish him nothing but the best moving forward as well. As for the coaching search,
to be fair, Victor, I haven't talked about the draft yet. I haven't even gone through my guys. Yeah, I'm watching the season, but I haven't gone through it yet. But don't know what we're talking about. I mean, we're right. Joe Shane's been fired. Brian Daboll fired. These guys need to go. I mean on Joe Shane. Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen's fired. These guys need to go.
We're going to do everything we can right now to support Kafka. That's our primary focus right now, is give Kafka everything he needs in order to succeed over these next 4 weeks, support him and his staff. At the appropriate time, we'll get into, potential coaches, research, and we'll do a thorough collaborative research and come up with the best coach to lead the New York Giants going into, 2026 season.
Can't believe he's in charge of this.
As for the roster, I do believe there is a good young core to build around here, and it will be an attractive job for many coaches. And, I'm excited to get that process going, as we move forward. As for, you guys are going to have some questions on Abdul. I know Kafka just spoke upon that, and I'm going to support him with whatever decision he makes in terms of player discipline. So again, I support him with that decision, and I'll just leave it at that. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions you guys might have.
Joe, you mentioned that your focus is getting Giants back to routine contention and really turning this around.
Yep.
Why do you believe that you're the right person to help turn this thing around?
Yeah, I understand the question. Again, my focus right now is on supporting Kafka as we go forward, and we'll evaluate all aspects of the football operation as we go forward. And has it been perfect? No. But I'm very
Wait, who asked that
confident as
question?
we
I
go
think it was
forward. I
Renan,
understand
right? I'm trying to get the voices
So,
right.
With that, I'll open it up for any questions you guys might have.
Joe, you mentioned that your focus is getting Giants back to routine contention and really turning this around.
Yep.
Why do you believe that you're the right person to help
Is
turn
that
this thing
Hughes?
around?
Yeah, I understand
Is
the
that
question.
Hughes?
Again, my focus right now is on
I understand the
supporting
hey guys,
Kafka
he
as
understands
we
the
go forward,
question.
and we'll evaluate all aspects of the football operation as we go forward. And has it been perfect? No. But I'm very confident in my staff, myself, and our ability to get this franchise back where it needs to go.
Where does that confidence come from? You're 2-11 at this time last year. You were saying you're close, and you're in the exact same spot now. So, what gives you that confidence?
Yeah, I understand the question, and I know where you're coming from. It starts with me. I take responsibility for that.
I just saw a bad dog in the
chat.
chat.
We do have a good young quarterback, that's on a rookie contract for the next 4 years, and that's when it gets fun. When you're building around a young quarterback, you have a good nucleus, you have a good left tackle, you have a wide receiver that had
Left tackle that he didn't even draft? Okay.
a historic year as a rookie season. You got a good running back room. You got pass rushers. There's pieces in place, Dan, and I understand the question, and I do have confidence in our
He said it
ability and our
twice for the
process
same thing.
to find the next coach to lead the organization. And again, I truly believe in that process, and I know we're going to get it right.
You have told you about your future and haven't been given any assurances that you'll be seeing the coaching search and into next year through.
Yeah, again, our focus is going to be on supporting Kafka and his staff. Ownership will evaluate the entire football operation at the end of the season, as they should, and then we'll go from there.
You mentioned ownership frustration. What conversations have you had with John and Steve?
Yeah, again, you guys have seen the results. 2 wins, not good enough. I mean, I'll keep our conversations between us, but we all know 2 wins isn't good enough. Where we are right now isn't good enough, and it needs to change.
Joe, why is you and Brian?
Go ahead, Pat.
Thanks. You and Brian Dable came in and worked as a collaborative pairing. So why is he held accountable for the results after 4 years, but you are not?
Yeah, I understand the question there too, Pat. And again, I'm equally as my hand's in it, just like Brian's is. And ownership made a decision to move on. And again, I'm going to do what I can control.
But yet he said I have a personal and I have a professional relationship with Brian Dable, and it was a hard decision that we had to make. It was a difficult decision that we had to make. So he said we in the beginning, and then said, that was up to management, what they wanted. That was up to the front office, what they want to do. Ownership. What they wanted to do with Brian Dable, not me. Now it's I didn't do it.
Too, Pat. And again, I'm equally as my hand's in it, just like Brian's is. And ownership made a decision to move on. And again, I'm going to do what I can control.
Ownership.
And
Now
I
it's
support
ownership.
Kafka moving
Before
forward.
it was we.
And again, I wish Dave's nothing but the best. And we're going to do everything we can to get this franchise back to where it should be.
You said that you would support Kafka in whatever decision he makes with that rule. But are you concerned that this could be a lingering situation?
No.
Why?
I have a lot of faith in the people in the building and the resources that we have.
I love New York media sometimes. They do not care. No. Why? Why? They will not take a one-answer question at all. They're not going to do it.
Abdul's a young man that's 21 years old, that's smart and understands the magnitude of his actions, and also understands what it means to be a pro. And these kids are 21 years old, and they're thrust in the spotlight in New York City, and it's not always going to be perfect. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And part of our job is to develop them as football players, but also as people. And we will continue to do that with everybody in this organization.
What was your input on the decision to fire Dable?
Again, that was a decision that ownership made, and I support him with the decision. And again, now we're supporting Kafka moving forward.
Interesting. Like I said, he said we in the beginning of the press conference. He said we came to that decision. Just putting that out there.
There's players, on social media criticizing the coach. There's players not giving an effort, not getting benched. Does the program, the organization, have an accountability problem?
I'm not real familiar with who was any specifics on the criticizing the coaches or.
Yeah, I wasn't looking to single out Malik, but Malik's tweet about Kafka after the Lions game, or
Oh, the Yeah.
Or
again,
or
like
Deontay
you try to
or-
no different than firing off a text. Like you should probably take a deep breath in the heat of the moment. Again, a 22-year-old kid that's going through a difficult time right now, not being able to be with his teammates and play, and going through a tough rehab. It's not easy, and there's a guy that's not playing and still, watching, supporting, and feeling the pain with us for not winning. So, again, another young player. It's a different world with social media, and we continue to educate these guys, and we'll continue to do that.
I honestly don't care about the players tweeting. I really don't care about that. They're upset. And yeah, Malik Neighbors' a kid. That is not something I'm like, hey, Joe Schoen, get your players and play. I don't give a shit about that. I want to win games. I don't care about a player tweeting or anything like that. I do care about Abdul Carter being late and tardy for meetings, for player meetings and stuff like that, and game plan meetings or whatever he was late for. I do care about that. That's something, but I don't care about a player tweeting about how upset he was. It's going to cause a lot of attention, sure, PR problems. That's something that they have to deal with, but I don't give a shit about that.
Running the coaching search, do you anticipate Mike Kafka being a candidate for the full-time job beyond the season?
Mike's going to get a real look. He's getting a real look right now. Hands-on. Had very good communication with Mike throughout the process. He's coached for 3 games. 2 of them we had leads in the fourth quarter. Guys were ready to go, and last night we didn't show up in all 3 phases, unfortunately. But I have a good relationship with Mike. He's a good coach, good leader, and again, he's getting an opportunity over these next 4 weeks to continue to lead the team.
How would you evaluate Jackson? Obviously, when we last spoke, he wasn't the starter yet, but just you were high on him. Now that he's started and played, how would you evaluate what he's done so far up to this point?
Jackson's done a good job. I've been impressed with Jackson. Offensive Player of the Month, Offensive Rookie of the Month in October. Played really well, for a rookie. Again, I know whether it's throwing the ball downfield, off platform, creating plays, the ability to extend plays, has been impressive. His leadership, his knowledge of the offense, he's exceeded expectations as far as he's done a good job.
That said, how do you try to balance out now? Obviously, everyone's talked about it, but have you talked to him, or have you talked to the coaches about this? Hey, we need to protect him better, or he needs to protect himself. How have you been involved with that conversation?
Yes, and having just lived it in Buffalo, we've been through this before, and what makes these players great is, their toughness, their competitiveness, their desire to win. And you appreciate that about Jackson, but you also have to be available. And try not to take the unnecessary hits. I would say last night was probably unnecessary.
Man, I don't give a shit about this, man.
And it's 3rd and 1, and instead we get a penalty, and he takes a shot, and now it's 3rd and 16. So there's a fine line, and what makes Jackson great is his competitiveness, is his desire to win, and that's the way he's wired. So you try to find a fine line between playing smart, but also not taking away what makes them great. And he's not the only quarterback that scrambles. I mean, you guys watch this against Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes is running all over the place. Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, some of the best. Like, you can't be. There's very few that can be the pocket passer. That's just a statue in there these days. So just got to be smart when you can get down and not have to take hits and unnecessary hits. You got to take advantage of those opportunities so you can live to see another day.
Joe, the perception is out there regarding Jackson that because of the video clips you guys maybe did in the summer back from the draft, were you saying to Daves, are you convicted in Jackson, that the perception is that he was Dable's guy, that he wasn't your guy.
I love this. Let's get into it. Look at his smirk on his face. Like he's about to say something so fucking foul. So mischievous. He's about to take credit for Brian Dable's guy, bro. Lest we forget, everybody, if you guys watched The Giant Life inside the war room and how much Joe Schoen was like, hey, we're taking a risk. This is your guy. You loved him so much. We're going to get your guy, right? Didn't we all see that on Giants Life, the documentary? Didn't we all see that? Watch the shit he's about to say. All right, I'm going to let's start with the question again.
Hits and unnecessary hits. You got to take advantage of those opportunities so you can live to see another day.
Joe, the perception is out there regarding Jackson that because of the video clips you guys maybe did in the summer back from the draft, were you saying to Daves, are you convicted in Jackson, that the perception is that he was Dable's guy, that he wasn't your guy.
Look at his smirk.
What insight or what can you speak to that, the idea that Jackson wasn't necessarily your guy, but it was the head coach that decided that he would be drafted?
Yeah, and again, there's context to those. Again, there's hundreds of conversations leading up to that conversation in the draft room, starting when we met with Jackson at the Senior Bowl.
Right.
So,
Yes.
you could probably ask Jim Denton. He says the earliest 30 visit I've ever scheduled, was in January. He was already on our calendar. So Jackson was the guy that was on our radar very early in the scouting process before, Daves was even aware of him because he was coaching.
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! You're gonna tell me that Brian Dable had oh my god, my brain is malfunctioning right now. You're gonna tell me that Joe Schoen first heard of Jackson Dart before Brian Dable because Brian Dable was busy coaching the team, and you're telling me that maybe Brian Dable doesn't watch Saturday Night Football or Saturday Football with Jackson Dart playing on Saturdays at Ole Miss? You're telling me that you told Brian Dable, this is your guy, you're convicted on him, la 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 la, this, that, and the third, because he was your guy first? He was your guy first? There is no possible way that he's taking responsibility and the credit for Jackson Dart, drafting him and his success, as if that wasn't Brian Dable's son that he never had. Brian Dable got fined by the NFL for jumping in that tent for his long-lost son, and you're telling me that was your guy? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Then what a fucking, exactly, Rom J, what a weasel. What a fucking weasel. Get the hell out. Oh, I to be honest with you, I heard of Jackson Dart before Brian Dable. He was busy coaching. He was my guy first. He's one of my earliest top 30 visits ever. I guarantee you he was an early top 30 visit because it was Brian Dable that was saying, I want this guy. I want this guy. Schedule him early. Bro, we never heard of Jackson Dart being scheduled for a top 30 visit until the official list came out and we found out that he was scheduled. He was the first scheduled. We thought it was just Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, Shador Sanders, amongst others. Who were the other quarterbacks there? I think there was a local quarterback as well. And we were like, what about Jackson Dart? He was the first guy scheduled. They did it was top secret. That means it was a team-wide decision. And when you're gonna draft a quarterback, right, for your team, and you got an offensive-minded head coach, who's the first person you're running to and saying, hey, who do you like? Who do you like as a potential quarterback in this draft? You're gonna go to the freaking and Jalen Milroe. You're going to go to the head coach, the offensive-minded head coach who's running the offense. Who do you like? Obviously, it was Brian Dable. You absolute fucking weasel. Dable said no to him. About Sanders? I probably. Bro, I have to rewind this. There's no way he took credit for Brian Dable. And Brian Dable is not there to defend himself. Brian Dable is getting absolutely thrown under the bus right now. What happened? Let's go. Yo, I have to. Oh my God. The smirk on this motherfucker's face. Fire Joe Schoen, man.
Would be drafted.
Yeah, and again, there's context to those. There's
so much context.
Hundreds of conversations leading up to that conversation in the draft room, starting when we met with Jackson at the Senior Bowl. So you could probably ask Jim Denton. He says the earliest 30 visit I've ever scheduled, was in January. He was already on our calendar. So Jackson was the guy that was on our radar very early in the scouting process before, Daves was even aware of him because he was coaching. And anytime you're going to make a decision on a first-round quarterback, that's going to be an organizational decision. And it was an organizational decision. Credit to my staff. They did a phenomenal job gathering information, understanding the landscape of the draft, that we could get Abdul at 3, and then when's the re-entry point into the first round where we could still get a quarterback. And again, kudos to my staff, Brandon Brown, Tim McDonald, Dennis Hickey, all those guys. The research they did was spot on. And if you're going to make the decision to move back up into the first round to get a quarterback, all hands are on deck. That was
Yo, did not give any credit to Brian Dable at all. Did not give any credit to Brian Dable at all. Just threw his ass under the bus and said, I credit my staff You know, they did their due diligence, and man, they hit it out the park, man. Anytime you're gonna draft a franchise quarterback is an organizational decision. That is such a fucking lie. That is such a lie, especially for a quarterback. You're going to go to the head coach, especially a head coach who specializes in the offense, a guy that was calling the plays, a guy that runs the offense. You're going to go to the head coach and say, who is your guy? What a fucking liar. You liar. You're with him. Oh my goodness. That is the worst, bro. I'm sorry. That makes me so upset. Like, these guys are supposed to be friends, right? He even mentioned these guys are friends. They have a personal relationship as well as a professional relationship. You guys seen them out in public, people taking pictures of them hanging out together in like sports games and stuff like that. For that to just completely shatter once Brian Daboll is fired, and then Joe Schoen saying the decision to get Jackson Dart was my decision. I scheduled the top 30 visit. I knew he was going to take credit because at the end of the day, he's the one who pulled the trigger. He's the one that I said this on Twitter, right? Joe Schoen is going to get all the credit for Jackson Dart because he's the one that initially pulls the trigger. He's the one that writes up that card. He's the one that has the end decision of saying this is what we're going to do, right? To put in that draft card. But although he's the one who pulls the trigger, who's the one that pointed him in the direction? It was Brian Daboll. It was Brian Daboll. And for him to say that it was an organizational decision and that credit to my staff, Tim McFucking-Donald gets more credit for Jackson Dart than Brian Daboll. The guy who literally was almost in tears when he saw his son, his quarterback, get hurt. Brian Daboll. Oh, yeah, he gets no credit for him at all. Not that Jackson Dart doesn't fit his system to a T, right? Jackson Dart fits Brian Daboll's system to a T. But he gets no credit.
The organizational decision, we're all on board with it. And, I'm glad we were able to do it. We didn't have to.
Yeah, mind you, how many New York Giants representatives were with Joe Schoen spent more time with Shedeur Sanders than Jackson Dart ever did. Joe Schoen spent a lot of time with Shedeur Sanders. Joe Schoen spent Brandon Brown spent a lot of time with Shedeur Sanders. In fact, it almost looked like that they wanted Shedeur Sanders. You saw all the smirks that he had every time Shedeur Sanders, when Shedeur Sanders was simping for the Giants wearing those Giants cleats, right? Before that game. I think that was his championship game, right? That bowl game. And then Joe Schoen was asked about it. He was nothing but smirks and smiles. I don't know anything about that. Come on. And then he's going to turn around and say, yeah, we were on Jackson Dart the entire time. You guys were on Shedeur Sanders the entire time and Brandon Brown. He was out there giving speeches. Brandon Brown was out there giving speeches to the Colorado football team. They were there as special guests at Colorado. You didn't see Joe Schoen and Brandon Brown special guests at Ole Miss?
Sell the farm to go up and get the quarterback. We were able to get him where we were, and again, looks like that pick's going to pay off.
What? Oh my God!
If you got better quarterback play, this team would win more games. I think it's obvious this team is getting better quarterback.
Sorry, last thing I'm going to say on this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like the super pauser right now. I'm sorry. Guys, you remember Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur? It was never a doubt that Daniel Jones was Pat Shurmur's guy. Dave Gettleman's not, taking all the credit for him, even after Pat Shurmur got fired. Daniel Jones was always Pat Shurmur's guy. Right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That tells you right there, it's not an organizational decision. Well, it is at the end of the day. It is an organizational decision. Every pick is an organizational decision. But as far as getting a franchise quarterback in the building, you're going to lean under the guidance of your offensive-minded head coach. I'm about to fucking rage right now. This guy's lying. I don't like being lied to. I don't like being lied to. Right? That's why I was so mad when Dave Gettleman traded Odell. I felt betrayed because he said you weren't going to sign him to trade him, and you traded him. All right? Same thing with this situation. I don't like being lied to and expecting that we're just dumbasses, that we're just stupid. And we're like, oh, you're right. Duh. It was all Joe Schoen. He's the GM, right? He's the guy that drafts the players. I guess it was all him.
Back play.
You know why this makes me mad, guys? It makes me mad because this is the reason why Joe Schoen is still here. It wouldn't make me mad. I wouldn't give a shit about what he says. If he's gone, I don't care. The reason is he's saying all this because he's trying to brainwash everybody to say that he's the one that got Jackson Dart. If Jackson Dart winds up being the franchise quarterback that he's projected to be, his ass is going to stay in business for at least the next 2 or 3 years. Right? This is his plan. This is his agenda. This is the propaganda that he's trying to push to the media. And of course, the Giants are all for it because they want as much good PR as possible. Jackson Dart is the sole reason why Joe Schoen is still here. I promise you. Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatteraboo, Tyrone Tracy, Brian Burns trading for him. These guys are not enough to keep a GM here with 5 wins in the past 30 games. But you know what will keep a GM around? Drafting a successful franchise quarterback. That's what's going to keep a GM around. Everything else is null and void. That 2023 draft, how many guys have we argued with on Twitter about that 2023 draft? And then they combat that by saying, well, look at the 2025 draft. Look how good the 2025 draft was. It looks like we hit on almost every pick. But that's the mindset. As long as you have a little bit of good, it's going to outweigh everything else. And Jackson Dart is a lot of good, but it's not his guy. Unreal. This is why Joe Schoen is still here. It's because of Jackson Dart. And he's going to take all the credit, and he's not going to look back. He would be stupid to give Brian Dable credit because Brian Dable's gone. He would be stupid to give Brian Dable credit because if Brian Dable is gone and he's the one that wanted Jackson Dart, why is Joe Schoen still here? There would be no reason to keep Joe Schoen here. Brian Burns and Cam Scatteraboo is not enough to keep this guy around.
Play with pretty much all 3 quarterbacks, maybe Russ not in all the games.
Yeah.
And the record is still what it is. So how do you look at that and say we have a young nucleus of good talent, we're getting better quarterback play, which was an issue last year, and the record is just not there?
Yeah, Paul, when you look at the offensively, before last night's game, we were up to 10. We're number 10 in the league. I think we're 14 now. So offensively, we have gotten better. Run and pass, the numbers are better. Defensively, I believe we were 30th last year at this time. That's with the addition of Abdul Carter, Paulson Adebo, Javon Howland, Chauncey Golston, Roy Robertson Harris, and we're in that same area, unfortunately. So to say I expected that, no, but again, it starts with me. We've got to do a better job. I didn't anticipate we would still be 30th in the league in defense at this point with the addition of those players, but we are, and we've got to do a better job of execution. We've got to do a better job of finishing games, and I've got to do a better job with the personnel.
You mentioned the roster is right now, right? In year 3 and 4, with the win total, right? You 3 wins last year, 2 wins. It's like, well, how do you explain that?
Yeah, I understand the question, and I'll just say this, Jordan. Like as we're looking,
he understands, guys. He understands
the coaching search, and what that may look like. There's feedback from outside sources.
Angelo, I agree.
As you go through it, in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I'm a coordinator and I maybe want to be a head coach, like would the Giants be an attractive job to me? Okay.
Not with your ass there. Not with your ass there, because I'll tell you what, on your way out, if you're a coordinator or head coach there, on your way out, Joe Schoen's going to take credit for anybody you wanted. And he's going to use that to stay there. Oh, this shit makes me so mad. This shit makes me so mad, bro. Because I'm telling you right now, if the Giants actually believe this shit and they stand by him because of Jackson Dart, he's gonna be drafting our players for the next 2 to 3 years at least, and we're gonna have the worst fucking rosters ever, man. Why is our roster so deficient 4 years into a rebuild? 4 years, and why are we one of the most? Our team is absolute ass, and we are in cap hell right now. Why are we spending so much money on this roster?
Quarterback. that's played at a pretty good level for a rookie. They've got a #1 receiver that had a historical rookie season. They've got a left tackle. They've got a left guard. They've got a center coming back. They've got a young running back room. Theo Johnson has shown very good flashes this year, of play. So that side of the ball, there's some pieces in place to build around. Defensively, there's pass rush. There's Dexter Lawrence. There's some pieces in the secondary. So when you look at it individually, are there pieces? Yes. But we got to come together collectively as a group, and there's 11 guys on the field that need to be doing the same thing. They need to be on the same page. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. And again, that starts with me, and that's what we got to figure out. It's not just talent. You all got to be on the same page, and everybody's got to be rowing in the same direction and doing their jobs. And that's what we're tasked with on the start. Some pieces in place to build around. Defense.
Let's go over this, guy. Let's go over his pieces in place, guys. Let's go over the pieces in place.
Running back room.
Hold on.
Attractive job. The
Look at his
coaching
body
search
language.
and what that may look like. There's feedback from outside sources, and as you go through it in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I'm a
My boy
coordinator
Nova.
and I maybe want to be a head
See
coach,
Nova.
would the Giants be an attractive job to me? Okay, they have a young quarterback that's played at a pretty good level for a rookie. They've got a #1 receiver that had a historical rookie season. They've got a left tackle. They've got a left guard. They've got a center coming back. They've got a young running back room. Theo Johnson has
Hold on. I just caught that. They have a left tackle. They have a left guard. That is the second time I heard him mention John Runyon. What the fuck is so special about John Runyon? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Hold on. I also want to go back in the chat too to see if anybody else shouted me out and I missed it. I saw Nova shout me out there because I typed in this in the live chat. But bro, is he taking credit for John fucking Runyon? Who the fuck cares about John Runyon? Oh my god, he's all right. They have a left guard. Bro, first of all, John Runyon's under contract for another year. What? He's one more year under contract. And JMS, what the fuck? The left guard? What? You might as well take credit for the slot. We got Drew Phillips. What the fuck?
Shown very good flashes this year, of play. So that side of the ball, there's some pieces in place to build around. Defensively, there's pass rush. There's Dexter Lawrence. There's some pieces in the secondary. So when you look at it individually, are there pieces? Yes. But we got to come together collectively as a group, and there's 11 guys on the field that need to be doing the same thing.
Guys, year 4 in a rebuild, you should never say we have pieces there. Year 4 under your regime, under your management of the roster, you should never say, hey, well, we have pieces here. Motherfucker, you've had 4 years to get 1, the cap under control, and 2, build a roster where if one guy goes down, the whole entire position group doesn't look like absolute shit. Why does Paulson Adebo go down and then the entire secondary explodes? Paulson Adebo goes down, then Deontay Bank goes down, and then we have Corey Black, our 7th round rookie, starting, who wasn't even on the team. You don't say 4 years into a rebuild, I have pieces on this roster. Hey, you wanna coach the New York Giants? I've got some pieces here. You don't say that 4 years into it, and all the cap is gone. We have $5 million to work with next year. We have to restructure contracts. We have to cut some guys. We have to make sure we knock another draft out the park to at least be sustainable or competitive. Bro, Malik Neighbors goes down and the wide receiver core is absolute shit. We have a 5'8" receiver who's our #1 guy right now. You should not ever say that we've got some pieces in place when we're talking about a roster that you've had control of for 4 years now.
They need to be on the same page. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. And again, that starts with me, and that's what we got to figure out. It's not just talent. Like you all got to be on the same page, and everybody's got to be rowing in the same direction and doing their jobs. And that's what we're tasked with. That's part of what we need to figure out moving forward is how to get these pieces to be on the same page and execute at a high level so we can win consistently.
Joe's your bottom line business. Why do you deserve to be the one to see it through based on the results under your leadership?
Good question.
I understand your question. Again, I think somebody asked the same thing earlier. But again, I'm going to control what I can control, which is support CAF over the next 4 weeks. Ownership should and will evaluate the entire football operation at the end of it. And I'm just going to continue to support Kafka and his staff and do the best we can over these last 4 weeks.
Okay, here's what I caught. I think this is the last. I think this is the last of what I caught before the video went private. Damn, he talks for another. He talks for like another couple minutes. I think this is what I caught before it went private. But he said, you catch what he said here, guys. I'm going to control whatever I can control for the next 4 weeks, and then ownership will make decisions based, make football decisions, stuff like that. I don't think his job is necessarily secure yet. I am upset. You guys heard that whole Jackson Dart rant. I am worried that ownership looks at Joe Schoen and says, you got Jackson Dart, praise to you, and we'll keep you around. I am worried about that. However, if you catch his wording here, I don't think he knows if his job is necessarily secure after these 4 weeks are over. You know what I'm saying? I think right now he's doing whatever he can to support Mike Kafka and get the ball moving on a potential head coach search, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to be here next year. I hope not. But let's go back and listen to this wording, guys. Just follow with me here. I know I'm kind of like trying to think the best of it, but just think about what he's saying.
You deserve to be the one to see it.
First of all, I love the way they're asking these questions and not relenting on him. Like they are asking these questions with like directly saying, "You do not deserve to be here. Why should you be here?"
Moving forward is how to get these pieces to be on the same page and execute at a high level.
He delayed it twice and was late.
Business. Why do you deserve to be the one to see it through based on the results under your leadership?
I
understand your question. Again, I think somebody asked the same thing earlier. But again, I'm going to control what I can control, which is support CAF over the next 4 weeks. Ownership should and will evaluate the entire football operation at the end of it. And I'm just going to continue to support Kafka and his staff and do the best we can over these last 4 weeks.
Yep. He's going to do whatever he can to support Kafka over the next 4 weeks, and then ownership is going to evaluate everything that goes on in football operations. That tells you right there, his job is not secure. But like I said, I am worried about Jackson Dart, him being successful, and that credit being given to Joe Schoen because Brian Dable was no longer here.
Did you misevaluate the significance of leadership on your team by letting guys go, like trading Leonard, letting Julian Love go, Xavier McKinney, Saquon Barkley? Do you think that has played a part in the fact that your team isn't able to finish and doesn't have enough leadership to get to the finish line and get wins?
I know we have leadership on this team. I'll say that. Like Brian Burns is a very good leader. He's done a good job. And I hear you on those guys, but you're at different points in the build, okay? You can, you want to rush the passer, protect the passer, and get a quarterback, okay? Rush the passer, protect the passer, and have a quarterback. In the context of those decisions, if you bring somebody, if you bring back a safety, now you don't have a pass rusher.
My God. He delayed this press conference twice. And this was the best answer that he can come up with. You pay Xavier McKinney. Then you don't have what, Brian Burns? Fine. But is Brian Burns directly responsible for not having Xavier McKinney? Like, are we for real right now, bro? Are we for real right now? Maybe if you drafted well. Maybe if that 2023 draft wasn't absolute fucking garbage, maybe we would have better offensive linemen that you drafted instead of having to go out and overpay for a John Runyon. Maybe you would have more pieces in place where you don't have to worry about certain positions if you fucking drafted well, brother. Now, even my dog's getting upset.
If If you bring back a running back, you don't get Jermaine Illuminor. You don't get John Runyon.
You bring back Saquon Barkley and you don't get Jermaine Illuminor. As much as I love Jermaine Illuminor, what the fuck are we talking about, brother? Oh, you bring back Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the league. Well, you don't get John Runyon. Yeah. John Runyon costed $10 million a year. John Runyon costed $10 million a year. Saquon Barkley wanted around the ballpark of 14. $4 million difference. I'm taking Saquon over John Runyon. I'll tell you that much. I am taking Saquon over John Runyon. You bring back Saquon Barkley, well, guess what? Guess what, feller? John Runyon is not a New York Giant. How about that? Did you ever think about that? If Saquon Barkley wasn't here, no John Runyon for you, brother. No John Runyon for you. And all right, I'm sure you're thinking twice about that now, huh? You're thinking twice about that now, aren't you?
In order to be productive at some of those positions, it helps to have the other. So I understand the leadership portion. We do have leaders on this team. Offensively, Jackson has stepped into that role. Scat is a future leader for us. Andrew Thomas has done a good job. Defensively, we've got guys. So leadership's always going to be important, and we try to have it in every room. Like, nobody talks about Chris Manhertz.
Leonard Williams was a case where I acknowledge that he should have been traded, the guy. Leonard Williams is a touchy one because Leonard Williams demanded so much, and I would have loved to pay Leonard Williams. The position that the Giants were in, the position that Joe Schoen was in, he was in cap hell from Dave Gettleman. He could not bring back Leonard Williams and also spread the wealth to the roster. He couldn't do it. There was just no way that Leonard Williams was the most obvious guy to let go. I didn't want to let go of Julian Love. I'll tell you that much, though. I did not want to let go of Julian Love. We wanted to let go of Julian Love. We didn't have... And you guys may misconstrue what I have to say about Saquon Barkley because I was on board with letting go of Saquon Barkley. The only reason why I was on board with letting go of Saquon Barkley wasn't because I didn't want Saquon Barkley on the roster. It's because this moron did not have the pieces in place to sustain a Saquon Barkley. Okay? When you pay a running back a certain price, you have to make sure you have the linemen in place. We didn't have that. So then we were just giving money to Saquon Barkley because of nostalgia, because we like him. You can't think of it like that. We had to let go of Saquon Barkley because this moron could not build the offense correctly. So it was a thing where two wrongs shouldn't make a right. So you have to just let go of Saquon Barkley, cut your losses, and say, hey, we have to focus on other positions. I would have loved to keep Saquon Barkley, but unfortunately, the offensive line was still in absolute shambles, and it just didn't seem like it was the right move to keep Saquon Barkley because the offensive line was still in shambles.
But the development of Theo Johnson and Belly, Devin Singletary, a guy in that room that has really been instrumental in Scat and Tyrone Tracy's development. So they may be your best players, don't always have to be your leaders. You would like them to be, but in today's day and age, it's getting harder and harder to find those guys. But we're always going to look for leadership. And
shout out to the guy. We also signed James Hudson to $6 million a year. Lest we forget that we signed this man right here, signed James Hudson III for $6 million a year. And he had one of the worst drives for offensive linemen in football history against the Cowboys.
And, again, specifically at the quarterback position, I think we have a very good future leader in Jackson Dart.
On the defensive side of the ball, you've invested a significant amount of resources in there, whether it's draft picks, whether it's free agent dollars, players you've let go, but the guys that you've decided you want to turn the defense around with. Mm-hmm. To have the defense be in the current state that it is, wildly underwhelming or underperforming at this point, I mean, what went wrong and how do you need to change? Because these are your guys. This is the guys the organization pinpointed to add, and it's been a failure to this point.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned it earlier. We were 30th last year. We're 30th this year with the addition of those talents. So we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job.
How close do you think this team is to truly competing?
I didn't hear your first.
How close do you think this team is to truly competing?
We're 2 wins. We're not there. We got to do better. I mean, that is what it is.
Another 4 years, maybe?
We're 2 wins.
So you said a couple of times about...
I will say this about the defense, because there was a question about the defense just now. I will say this about the defense. The defense should not be this bad, okay? I'm not going to give all the vitriol to Joe Schoen. The defense should be a lot better than it actually is. However, because I was on board with keeping Dexter Lawrence. He re-signed him. Brian Burns is a fantastic pickup. I loved Abdul Carter. It just seemed like he can't find himself a sack, but he got one on this past game. Like Darius Alexander, Micah McFadden, Bobby, like these guys are good, right? Front seven is good. But I will say, why is Deonte Banks competing for cornerback 2? Like, we know he's ass. Like, we know he's ass. Why is we got Paul Adebo out there, but why is Deonte Banks the 2A and 2B to Cordell Flott? Like, I know he's your first round pick. I don't give a shit. Go get somebody that's better to help him compete with him. And if Deonte Banks is cornerback 4, then he's a good cornerback 4. You can't just say, well, he's our first round pick, so let's rock with him. Well, you're trying to win games. Paulson Adebo goes down, and then automatically our secondary is more shit than it was already. Banks is bad. Let's just admit he's you could tell Joe Schoen, look how long Evan Neal was around for. Look how long he was around for. They have so much arrogance in their picks where they're trying to force their picks to work. Deonte Banks is not good. It sucks. I love them. I love Deonte Banks. He's not good. Go get somebody out there that can compete with Cordell Flott, who's playing great. Pay Cordell Flott. But why is he competing for cornerback 2 right now, man? Why was he competing for cornerback 2 in the season when Cordell Flott ran away with that? Unreal.
Jackson makes this.
Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt as well. Why is Jalen Hyatt still on this freaking roster? They don't use him. Isaiah Hodgins has more yards than him already, brother. He has more catches and yards and touchdowns than Jalen Hyatt, and he just got on the team.
Do you have to take into consideration what Jackson will find attractive in a head coach?
I'm sorry. I gotta keep pausing. JMS. Why did we not draft a competition for center or even a free agent for center? Since JMS has been drafted, he's never had competition. He's been the day one starter. There's no backup. Guys, we have Austin Schlottman as the backup center. That's it. That's the only type of backup or composition JMS has ever had. And he's been terrible. JMS has been one of the worst centers in the NFL.
You're going to take that into account if he has an opinion. But again, like, all due respect to Jackson, he's been here for 9 months. You want to lean on him, and if it's an offensive mind or concepts or something, but you've got people in the building that have been doing this for over 20 years and networks around the league and know what it looks like and have been doing it for a long time. So I respect Jackson a lot. We have great communication, talk to him about a lot of things, and as it gets closer, that's something we'll have conversations about. But again, the weight of the decision won't.
Yeah, Jackson Dart should not influence the head coach. But Toe says, when are you on RoundTable? I'm going to be on RoundTable tonight at 6 o'clock. So about an hour and 15 minutes from now, give or take, I will be on RoundTable. I'll be on RoundTable at 6 p.m. And then we'll do Young Guns at 8:35 on Cush's channel. The Hub, if you guys don't know. And then we're going to be live on Twitch watching Hard Knocks together. Live on Twitch.
Yeah, he's going to have a voice in it. But are you still playing matchmaker?
Well, the entire team. It's not just offensively. Again, who can come in and lead the entire team? Offensively, defensively. Obviously, you do have a young quarterback, and that's going to be important. The development of Jackson, that he continues to progress the way he has, and that's obviously going to weigh heavy into the decision.
Joe, what do you view as your part in 5 wins in the last 30 games? Because you said it starts with me.
Yeah.
But what specifically do you think you have failed on? And how is it translating in losses on the field, where you say, is it drafting? Is it free agency? How do you view it? How do you?
It's 5 wins the last 2 years, Pat. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like, you can go through. I'm not going to make excuses. It's not good enough. I don't want to go through individually, different scenarios. There's context to a lot of things, but it's 5 wins. It's not good enough, and we've got to get better.
Would you agree it's fair to talk about the details a little bit, though, because several coaches have lost their jobs now because they weren't good enough. So what is your part specifically?
Come on, Pat. Come on. Preach, Pat. Preach, Pat. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing that gives you the power to stay and everybody else is gone? Shane Bowen, Brian Dable, I'm sure the whole coaching staff is going away, include maybe even Carmen Brasillo and Andre Patterson, right? These are two guys that definitely deserve to stay, in my opinion, right? Maybe even Charlie Bulin, the interim defensive coordinator, maybe he deserves to stay. He's the outside linebackers coach. There are a couple of position coaches that deserve to stay here. They're probably all going to be gone with the new coaching staff. Why do you deserve to stay? Oh my God, I can't stand this guy. I cannot stand Joe Schoen, bro. Cannot stand him.
There's context to a lot of things, but it's 5 wins. It's not good enough, and we've got to get better.
Would you agree it's fair to talk about the details a little bit, though? Because, like, several coaches have lost their jobs now because they weren't good enough. So what is your part specifically?
Yeah, it's 5 wins, Pat, and it's not good enough. I understand your question, and I'm also a realist. I understand. It's what have you done for me lately? I've been in the league for 26 years.
He understands. Empathy.
It's not good enough, and we're going to look at the entire football operation, everything from free agency decisions, draft decisions, coaching, execution. What can we do better? What can we do better? Because there are pieces here. There are pieces here. Why aren't we maximizing what we have? And that's what we're going to, that's going to be our mission this offseason to figure that out.
When you say, why are we not maximizing what we have? I think some people would say you don't have enough. So I'm asking,
and that's fine. Where
have you erred in that as far as composing the roster, building the roster?
Exactly what I said, guys. Exactly what I said. By the way, guys, I keep pausing like this because one, I need to give my commentary. 2, I don't know if they'll ever copyright me for this, for just taking their content. I have to make it transformative. Anyway, thank you. Exactly what I said here. Yes, the coaching staff's job is to maximize what you have on the roster. The coaching staff, a lot of them, did not do that, and that falls on Brian Dable, and that is completely fair, okay? Completely fair. However, some would argue you're not giving anything for them to work with. That's pretty much what Pat Leonard is saying. You're not giving them anything to work with. How are you supposed to maximize something that there's nothing there? Oop.
They're keeping draft picks on the roster who have not contributed.
Jalen Hyatt.
Don't look like they're going to contribute into the future.
Yep.
And who create depth issues on the roster that seem to become glaring issues when these games are on the line.
Come on! I missed this.
Well, I'll just say this, Pat. Like, nobody's perfect. And, the chance of me batting 1,000 are gone because I've made mistakes.
Yo, I didn't see this yet. Oh, my God. I'm going to catch an aneurysm. His answer, after pausing for 5 seconds, his answer was, hey, nobody's perfect. Oopsie. Hey, you know what Hannah Montana said, Pat. Listen to Hannah Montana. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it again and again until I make it right. You gotta be fucking kidding. His answer to having Jalen Hyatt on this roster doing absolutely fucking nothing when you denied trade calls was, hey, nobody's perfect, Pat. You gotta give me some grace, Pat. I'm just human. Pat, I'm just human, just like you. Just like you, Pat. I'm sure you make mistakes. I make mistakes too. I'm just human. That's why Jalen Hyatt is still on the roster when the offense has no use for him for the past 3 years. Nobody's perfect, Pat. Nobody's perfect. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe that was his first answer. Yo, Pat Leonard, you got some brownie points with me, brother.
On the roster that seem to become glaring issues when these games are on the line.
Well, I'll just say this, Pat. Like, nobody's perfect, and the chance of me batting 1,000 are gone because I've made mistakes. Okay, everybody's gonna make mistakes.
Yo, he looked like he about to cry.
We're gonna get some things right. As long as you're learning from those mistakes and you reflect on the process in place and where you went wrong, and you can continue to get better. That's what's most important.
Bro.
And shit. I'm better today than I was 4 years ago when I get this job. And a year from now, God willing, I'm standing here, I'm going to be better than I am today. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do. That's all my staff can do. We continue to evaluate the process where there's some things we did where we missed in our process or we strayed from what we believe in. There's a chance that happened. Okay, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Don't make it again. But again, as you go through it, there have been a lot of decisions that have went right. Okay, so what can we learn from that? As long as we're learning and continuing to get better, and don't
He
make
just
the
saying
same
some bullshit.
mistakes twice,
Nobody's
then that's
perfect.
progress.
You
And that's
live
what
and
we're
you
gonna continue
learn
to focus
it.
on our
Something
process
to something.
to get this organization back where it belongs.
Nobody's
Again, it's the gold
perfect.
standard. It's still the New York Giants and the greatest city in the world. Flagship franchise. Great
I don't
ownership.
give a shit about what
Young
this guy's
quarterback.
saying. This is bullshit.
Like, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the guys who are here. Have I screwed up? Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. And we're going to continue to get better. And we're going to look at everything. Everything. Coaching, coordinators, strength. I mean, every single thing. Every part of the organization. And we're going to do everything we can to get this thing going in the right direction.
Are you prepared?
We should be looking at GM. Am I right? Guys, am I right? So, high five, anybody? Am I right? We should be looking at, if we're going to be looking at everything, let's start with a GM. Huh? Huh? Ah! There we go.
Joe, if once these 4 games, once the season is over, if John and Steve and anyone else in ownership bring you into a room to prove to them, to convince them that you're the right guy to move forward as general manager here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope so.
Where did we move straight from the process? Can you talk about that? I guess where it sounds like you've already kind of evaluated that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. No, nobody focuses on what went wrong more than me. I'll just say that. Like, you're continually beating yourself up because these aren't. It's not like the head coach and hey, we didn't get it against. We didn't get it last night against New England, but I'm going to go. The game plan next week's going to kick. We're going to forget everything about what happened against New England. Like these are decisions that live on, and there's whether it's draft or free agency or hiring a coach. You got to live with those decisions. And again, we're just going to continually evaluate the process.
Exactly,
and
Daniel.
I do. I know I'm not going to get into details, but there's some early on where we strayed from maybe what we believe in, and I've got to live with that. I've got to learn from it, educate my staff on what we can do better, and again with the people we have in the building, the collaborative approach, and we're going to get this thing right. We're going to get this thing right. We're just going to get it going in the right direction.
I think there's a possibility that a GM candidate might want to bring in, a coaching candidate might want to have their own GM, that they might not necessarily want to have a pre-existing general manager in place.
The calls we've gotten, I think we're going to be able to fill the job.
Shit, he sounded like he about to cry. The calls we got, I think we're about to fill the job. So, wait, hold on. Isn't that like tampering or something like that? Aren't guys not allowed to like say they're interested in coaching jobs yet? Right? Is that a thing? I could be. The fact he said this and there was no uproar about it, so like I guess you're allowed to, right? I guess you're allowed to.
Pre-existing general manager in place.
The calls we've gotten, I think
they're not
going to
want Joe Schoen there, bro.
Thanks. All right, thanks, guys.
That's it. Yo, he was out of there with quickness, bro. Holy shit! Look at that.
The calls we've gotten, I think we're going to be.
He
able to
grabbed
fill
that
the job.
water and dipped.
Thanks. All right, thanks, guys.
Holy moly, guys. Wow. What a press conference. Guys, I've never seen a worse press conference in my life. How do I change this thing back to what I want? Oh, no. Where's my thing here? Bro. Where's my special little thing here? There it is. Yo, what a press conference. I've never seen a more disastrous press conference in my life, guys. I have not. I am legitimately in awe. That was terrible. Dave Gettleman never had something like that. Dave Gettleman was... towards the end of it, Dave Gettleman, you could tell Dave Gettleman was kind of out of it. Like, he knew he was gone, but, like, man. There was a lot of laughable moments. I'm definitely clipping that shit up and putting that up. Like, that. There's some sound bites in there, man. Holy moly. Nobody's perfect, bro. Nobody's perfect. I knew about I knew about Jackson Dart before Brian Daboll. He was busy coaching. My goodness. My good. I don't make the same mistake twice. Are you out your mind? The kicker situation, having draft picks on the roster that are doing absolutely nothing and not helping that position because you're forcing them to work out. We barely did anything with the wide receiver position because we were desperately trying to get Jalen Hyatt to work out. We barely did anything with cornerback because we're trying to make Deonte Banks work out. Offensive line, it took a while for them to even try to get something working, even though they addressed offensive line a lot. It just hasn't been working. And Evan Neal always found his way starting somehow. You know? Unreal. Yeah, he was out of there quick, bro. He grabbed that water, which he never took a sip of. He grabbed that water and was out of there. Oh my goodness. But all right, guys, that's it. Be sure to tune in tonight for RoundTable at 6 p.m. We'll be talking about everything with going on with the Giants on the RoundTable with the NFC East. And then obviously we'll get to talking a little bit about that Patriots game, which quite frankly, I'm probably not going to talk about it. They're going to want to talk about it. I'm just going to skirt away from it. So yeah. Shout out Pat Leonard, man. He did his thing. I usually am not the biggest fan of Pat Leonard. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I'm usually not a fan of Pat Leonard, but he popped off here, man. He popped off here. He asked all the tough questions. I was surprised he was able to get in so many questions because I'm sure there was a lot of guys over there, a lot of people over there, but he was able to ask all those tougher questions. So, all right, guys, follow me on Twitch, guys. Everybody that's in here, like the stream. A huge thank you to everybody that joined in. Like the stream, and also follow me on Twitch. We'll be live a little bit past 10 p.m., and we'll be watching Hard Knocks together. So you guys get ready for that. So that's going to be pretty fun. And then that being said, yeah, I was going to say leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Oh, guys, also, listen, guys, we also have, hold on. Sleeper. Oh, shit. What is going on right now? Hold on. There we go. We got to talk about Sleeper, guys. We got to talk about Sleeper. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring not only the stream, but the entire channel for this NFL season. Take a look at Sleeper. Their watermark has been on the entire time. We are sponsored by Sleeper. For if you use the promo code, my promo code, 27squad, the season's not over yet, guys. You guys don't necessarily need to make picks on the Giants because, dear God. But check out Sleeper for a 100% match up to $100 on your deposit if you use the promo code 27squad. And also, you get a free $20 entry as well if you use the promo code right now. If you use the promo code right now, you get a free $20 entry as well. So do not miss out on that at all. That can help you freaking make an insane pick slip for the price of pretty much nothing. And you can start your journey from there. So shout out to Sleeper for the sponsor, man. Shout out Sleeper for the sponsor. We may be working on some stuff in the future as well. So can't wait to talk about that stuff. But that being said, guys, I do understand all of your questions. I do understand all of your statements, So I am KB. We'll be live another 3 times today. And last final thoughts, guys. I do understand.